Hello art lovers, I'm here today with Don Kilby and his beautiful dog Brownie at his studio in Clarksburg, Ontario. So Don, for those folks that aren't familiar with Clarksburg, where is Clarksburg?
Well, Joanne, Clarksburg is north of Toronto, probably a good 2 hours, depending on whether we got snow in the way or not, and it's on one of the Great Lakes in Ontario, central Canada.
Right, so it's snow country here, but I have a feeling you're not going to be able to enjoy snow country because you are doing this magnificent painting.
That's correct. I'm going to not look out the window and think about all the winter activities that might be calling me, and I'm going to be focusing for the next number of weeks on turning this into a beautiful painting, hopefully.
So this is going to be the beautiful painting, Dawn, that you're going to be producing. The painting is called Duesenberg On Parade. Duesenberg On Parade. And the particular setting for this spectacular vehicle is going to be what?
It's the famous Pebble Beach Concours d'Elegance at Monterey coast of California, where they annually have a car show, the finest car show of the world with the finest cars of the world, and that's where this image is based. But we're putting a little twist on it in that because the cars shown, the feature car is 1934, I believe, Duesenberg, and so I've added some figures that are going to be of that era. So we've got a man and a woman kind of having a look at the car, and they'll be wearing the appropriate gear that you would if you were seeing the car at the time that it was being sold.
So this actually is an image, Dawn, that you've chosen for the figures. The style of the clothing and so on is the 1930s, right?
That's correct.
Right. So can you talk a little bit about the style of the painting or what your intentions are? This is, of course, in its infancy, so you're going to be putting paint to canvas shortly. Can you talk about what you're going to be aspiring for to get the true elegance with this painting?
Well, certainly, yeah, it's at its very beginnings. I've just transferred the image in graphite, and the next step will be to sort of refine everything and get proportions correct, etc., with paint, and then start to add values, etc. I ended up with a number of very good options for this painting that we were considering, but I went with this one because it's more than just a painting of a car. It includes some figures, it includes a well-known backdrop, etc., and being more than just one car, it shows the sort of more of a group setting with some figures as well. So it's almost got some landscape characteristics as well, figurative, as well as obviously featuring a car that is almost going to be depicted life-size. They're very large cars. They represent it. It's almost full size, at least the front of the car that you're seeing here. So that's going to make quite a dynamic image when you're standing in front of it.
Certainly is. It's going to be a striking piece. This vehicle up here, Dawn, what is that vehicle? Is it the same?
It is another Duesenberg. This, I say this show that I've used as a reference, it draws the finest cars of the world, and so they would have had a whole row of who knows how many, not a huge number, of these cars of this era, and so it's showing actually there's another one and then a hint of a third off to the edge, and they'll all be sort of blue Duesenbergs of the mid-early 30s, and all in exquisite condition.
It's going to be a challenging painting, first of all, because of the size and the scale of the painting. But nonetheless, you're a very talented painter and are certainly capable of producing something quite spectacular. You've talked about how important it is to get the glare and the brilliance in your artwork. That's something that's quite important to you.
Absolutely. Well, this was part of why I chose this particular image over more of a side view of one of these cars, is that you get the full frontal and the grille, the headlights, the horns, and a lot of the other trim work is all brilliant chrome on a bright blue sky day, so it's going to be reflecting the greens of the grass. It's going to have the sky blues. It's going to have the actual sun will be created in the reflections as well. So it's a a large palette for showcasing chrome work at its finest. And chrome is a challenging thing to paint, as anyone who's tried to do it has learned quickly. But what it is a highly reflective surface, so you're effectively painting everything that's around the image, whether it's the ring of the headlight or the bumper, etc. And it's depicting the skies and the ground, but on the form that the chrome work lays upon. So there's a whole bunch of different dynamics involved, and when it's done right, it can be really stunning.
I'm sure it will be very stunning. So just as a reminder, this actually is what the painting will look like when it's finished, which is pretty spectacular. So Dawn, this painting is not staying in your studio in Clarksburg, Ontario, and it will be headed to Naples, Florida in a couple of weeks, and it will be headed to Ultimate Garages, which is a pretty unique and special place in Naples. And so it will be going to Naples in a couple of weeks, hopefully. That's the plan. For folks that want to see it in the flesh, the painting will be available at the Naples Art Experience, the Garage. And it's really interesting that someone very important is going to be able to take a look at your painting. Who will that be, Don?
Well, we're very fortunate to have it's going to be a part of a charitable fundraiser and an auction of various pieces of art and other items. And the marquee name associated with it is going to be Jay Leno, who is well known to most of us as a talk show host and comedian, but he is also among the most knowledgeable car collectors of all kinds of different eras, and has successful shows, etc., where he showcases all kinds of his own cars as well as other owners of cars. And he's going to be at the event, and I suspect when he sees this car, and maybe then one beside it and one beside it, he will be familiar with the actual car that I painted. So hopefully I get it right and Jay doesn't spot something that's not the way that horn looks, but I'm confident that it should meet with his high standards, and it'll be an honor to have someone who's as knowledgeable as he is about Duesenbergs and classic cars in general, taking a good look at this thing and speaking on its behalf.
So that event will be at Ultimate Garages in Naples on February the 7th. From 12 until 3, Jay Leno will be a part of that. There will be a silent and a live auction at that time. As a matter of fact, the silent auction has started now, and if people are interested in going on to the Ultimate Garages website, they can see what is available in terms of artwork. But this will be, you also have how many other paintings at Ultimate Garages, Don?
4 other pieces.
You have 4 other pieces of all classic vehicles, more or less?
Yeah, from some different eras. There's a car of the same vintage as this one, and then something from the early 50s, a Maserati from the early 50s, so it's a bit of an eclectic collection. They're certainly not of this scale, but I think they're good representations of the cars, and I'm happy to have them down on display and in front of that audience there.
So for people that are certainly classic car enthusiasts, you're the man for those people to seek out your paintings, that's for sure.
Well, I look forward to all the feedback that I hope to hear from the people in attendance. And, it's a lifelong hobby of mine, the cars of all generations, but I have to say that what I'm depicting here is kind of the ultimate era, I think, when cars were at their most artistic and beautiful and coveted, to be honest. So it's an honor to be creating this painting, and I'll never get bored talking, seeing, painting, being in the company of stuff like this.
Absolutely. So just as a reminder, February the 7th at Ultimate Garages in Naples from 12 until 3. It is a ticketed event. Jay Leno will be in attendance. The tickets are $500 per person and will be available presumably on the website with Ultimate Garages. And further to that, Dawn, there will be an event in Naples on February the 8th. It's called Cars on Fifth Avenue, which is very popular with people that winter in Naples. And hopefully we will have some of your paintings there, perhaps not this one.
Yes. Well, obviously moving this painting around presents certain challenges, and honestly, it's just going to be arriving and framed almost in the nick of time, essentially. So it'll be a thrill just to have it included in this myriad of events that are happening at that time. But certainly, we hope to have some of the other pieces on display, as well as all the magnificent cars that will be there in person.
Absolutely. So thank you, Dawn, for sharing this and allowing me to see this painting in its infancy. Of course, we'll be thrilled to see it in the flesh. So best wishes, and thank you for joining us this morning, and hope to see you in Naples. Thanks a lot. Bye for now.